Nigerian man Jackson asks Tinubu, Adamawa governor to grant him clemency after being sentenced to death for defending himself against herdsmen attack. My dear listeners, this is an interesting news I bring to your listening. Yes, as an innocent man begs Tinubu and Adamawa governor to grant him clemency after being sentenced to death for defending himself against an attack in his farm. So, my dear listeners, moving on to the full details, kindly please ensure you like, subscribe to this channel, and share. A growing number of Nigerians are calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Adamawa State Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri to grant clemency to Sunday Jackson, a man sentenced to death despite strong claims of self-defense. This is Ursula's Jackson, who was just 20 years old as an expectant father at the time, has written to Tinubu asking for clemency also. He had been farming to support his family when he was attacked by a knife-wielding herdsmen. In a desperate struggle, he managed to disarm his assailant, who was fatally wounded in the process. However, instead of being recognized as a victim defending himself, the legal system turned against him. For 7 years, Jackson remained in pretrial detention, even though evidence showed he had been stabbed in the leg. When his case finally went to trial, he was sentenced to death, with a court ruling that he should have fled after disarming his attacker. The Supreme Court upheld this judgment, leaving Jackson facing execution. Now in his early 30s, Jackson has spent his entire adulthood behind bars. His daughter, born months after his imprisonment, has never met him and may never get the chance. Amid growing public outcry, activists, legal experts, and human rights groups are urging the government to reconsider Jackson's case, emphasizing the injustice of executing a man who acted in self-defense. Meanwhile, Jackson, in a letter addressed to the Adamawa State Governor, Amadu Umaru Fintiri, the Attorney General of Adamawa State, and the Controller of Corrections, Nigerian Correctional Service, Yobe State Command sought clemency. In the document obtained by Sarah reporters, he urged the governor to exercise his prerogative of mercy and grant him a pardon, particularly as he has already spent 10 years in the correctional facility. The letter read, I, the undersigned, am Sunday Jackson, who was recently condemned to death by the court by defending myself against an unprovoked violent attack by an assailant upon my own farm. I am a student and a farmer who was going about my honest and lawful activity. When I was violently attacked and sustained severe injuries, despite this, I was able to overpower my attacker and defend myself, whereupon my attacker died. However, in a gross miscarriage of justice, he was sentenced to death in 2021 after already being in prison for several years. According to Jackson, I was unharmed and going about my lawful business and as a farmer trying to feed for my family. He said the assailant brought out a knife and he tried to run for his life, calling for help. While he fled, he was stabbed at the back of his head and he became afraid and weak. My assailant stabbed me again on my leg, and one more move from him was going to end my life. I was too weak to run, so in defense of myself, I disarmed him while already in a pool of my own blood and killed him to save my life. The act of self-defense is a constitutional right recognized by Nigerian law in Ekpodo vs. State 2021, LP ELR 52826 self-defense was defined as the use of force to protect oneself, one's family, or one's property from a real or threatened attack is stated. My dear listeners, now we've come to the end of our today's news. Please do drop by at the comment section and let us know what your view is all about. Thank you for listening.